So James Cameron has come out once again speaking with regards to a new Terminator film because he has set his sights on that. It's actually looking more and more likely that Terminator, a reboot of some description, will be his next film after Avatar: Fire and Ash. Loads of people did think it was going to be Ghosts of Hiroshima, but apparently that was just him trying to promote the book or something like that. Pretty standard for James Cameron to do things like that to promote stuff. But anyway, do we need another Terminator? I don't think so. I don't think so at all, actually. I've always said, and we'll get to what he says about Arnold Schwarzenegger and Terminator in a minute, but I've always said that Terminator should have been a trilogy. So, like, you can have, strictly speaking, actually just 2 movies, but Terminator 2 is such a good film, it'd be a shame to, remove it from canon. But basically, Terminator should have always been a trilogy. Terminator should have happened. Terminator 2 should have happened. But Terminator 3 should have been the future war leading up to the events of Terminator. Because I don't know why, but people often forget that in Terminator, they won. The humans win. The events of Terminator only happen a last-ditch effort from Skynet to prevent its destruction by sending a Terminator back in time to prevent John Connor from ever, being born or being killed and rising up and becoming this great future warrior, right? So actually, John Connor already won. Skynet was defeated. So you can, in theory, what I personally think, actually, it should have just been a trilogy. You just have this closed loop. Have a closed loop, a cyclical moment in time. Right? The events of Terminator always happens. John Connor always defeats Skynet. But life goes on afterwards. So what we should have had was the future war. And everything detailing what happened on the run-up to John Connor going to destroy, whatever, Skynet. See it. See him sending Kyle Reese back in time. See Skynet sending a Terminator back in time. And then see them subsequently destroying all the equipment and trying to rebuild humanity. That is what Terminator should have been. But no, we didn't. We just keep getting these nonsense sequels and requels and prequels and sidequels and now reboots. And it's just it's a clown show of a franchise. An actual clown show of a franchise. And don't get me wrong, I like Terminator. I like aspects of it, quite a lot actually. But we don't need another one. We definitely don't need another Terminator. I feel like they're kind of barking up the wrong tree with this. And it's not actually because I think that James Cameron can't do it. I mean, he doesn't seem to think he can do it. In some of the comments he's made. I'm waiting because I need to wait and see what AI does. It's like, what? AI is not going to suddenly build Skynet and Terminators, for God's sake. Like, the basis of your entire franchise is that. So just keep, if you're gonna do it, why would you stray so far away from what is quintessential Terminator? Seems weird. But anyway, so he's said some new stuff. And it just makes me think even more that we don't need another Terminator. We don't. We categorically do not need another Terminator. So here's what was said. And again, these interviews, man. So he said, and this is to do with Avatar 4, by the way. He's been hinting a lot lately that he's not going to be working on it as much. I've got other stories to tell, and I've got other stories to tell within Avatar. What won't happen is I won't go down the rabbit hole of exclusively making only Avatar for multiple years. You already have done that, buddy. I hate to break it to you. You actually have already done that. And not only that, I'm pretty certain he did go out on a limb previously and say he was just going to be making Avatar movies until he died. Didn't he? Or was that a meme? Pretty certain he did say words to that effect. But okay. I'm going to figure out another way that involves more collaboration. I'm not saying I'm going to step away as a director, but I'm going to pull back from being as hands-on with every tiny aspect of the process. So that's interesting. But then, yeah, he's talking about this Terminator again. So it does seem mounting evidence that this will be his next movie. Which, not going to lie, I'm not interested in a... I'm not interested in another Terminator movie, even if James Cameron comes back. At all, actually. Did little known fact, Terminator Dark Fate, the opening with John Connor being killed, that was James Cameron's idea, just as an FYI. So one of the many projects we know Cameron has his eye on is another Terminator movie. Addressing that, the filmmaker said, quote, "Once the dust clears on Avatar in a couple of months, I'm going to really plunge into that. There are a lot of narrative problems to solve." Is there? The biggest is how do I stay enough ahead of what's really happening to make it science fiction? Well, I mean, walk-in automatons with guns and laser beams. I mean, we don't have that at the moment. So I mean, that'd be a big thing that you could do, couldn't you? Really? But all right, never mind. So bizarre. So bizarre, but he's also said no Arnold Schwarzenegger at all. So he says, "I can safely say he won't be in it. It's time for a new generation of characters." What, like with that weird little Latina chick that was in the last one that became the new John Connor? Yeah, all right, mate. "It's time for a new generation of characters. I insisted Arnold had to be involved in 2019's Terminator Dark Fate, and it was a great finish to him playing the T-800. No, it wasn't. You made him a drapery guy. Carl's Drapes or something like that. What are you talking about? Are you high? That was not a good send-off for that character at all, but okay. There needs to be a broader interpretation of Terminator and the idea of a time war and super intelligence. I want to do new stuff that people aren't imagining." Okay, buddy. Yeah, sure. Whatever. I mean, look, at the end of the day, a future war is what people want. Why can't people just do what everyone wants? Like, everyone wants the future war. Just do that. What are you doing? Just do that. Just do the future war. Do it. Anyway. But he's also, apparently, he's not going to harken back to the past. Brilliant. Because that's what people want. Some weird retcon. I'm not criticising it. But I was there for Aliens, 41 years ago? Something like that wouldn't be of interest to me. The things that scare you the most are exactly the things you should be doing. Nobody should be operating artistically from a comfort zone. Brilliant. Okay, well, there you go. Personally, I'm going to go out on a limb and just say we don't need another Terminator. Stop making Terminator films. That's it. Just stop making them now. Stop making Terminator films. Actually, I will say this. Terminator's done quite well on animation. There was that anime. Can't remember what it was called now. Terminator like Zero or something like that. That was really good. That was really good. Love that anime. Do more stuff like that. But stop making Terminator films.